Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So another reason to follow my Twitter is every once in a while I make these polls asking you guys which video topic you would like to see on a given day. And today I asked you guys if you'd rather see a video about the Pokimane $7 cookie drama or some Made in Abyss K-pop drama. And you guys made it very clear what your choice was, and that was the Made in Abyss K-pop drama, which clearly shows me that you guys don't care about my physical and mental safety because you're making me talk about K-pop stans, which is always dangerous because anytime you talk about K-pop or K-pop stans, you are risking life and limb because they are very unhinged, okay? They're not just antis, they're like super antis, but I'm gonna risk it all to give you guys the entertainment you asked for. So, how did this whole topic come about? Well, recently a K-pop star named Woozi was asked for anime recommendations, and this clip has made the rounds on Twitter where he lists off some very solid choices. The guy's got great taste, by the way, but the one anime in that list that caused controversy was Made in Abyss. Now, for those who don't know, that is an anime and franchise that contains a lot of dark themes, and apparently it is very controversial to like it, at least in the K-pop stan scene, because they would rip this man limb from limb and want him canceled. They would slander him and say all kinds of terrible things. And I'm talking tens of thousands of users engaging this stuff. And here's one of the tweets that got the most attention. So it's talking about how people are going after him because he watched Made in Abyss and they're claiming it's pedophilic innuendos contained within this fictional series. And you can see this tweet has 12 million views and over 21,000 retweets and quotes. Tens of thousands of people making quotes attacking this K-pop star over his choice of anime. Now, before we get into the usual responses to this, I will also point out that there was a very interesting, theme of K-pop stans using this situation to not only attack this man, but also men in general. Let's see some of those tweets first. So, this user with 18,000 likes quoted with this screenshot saying, "I think all men should start off in jail and prove their way out." Yes, that's a very sane and rational thing to tweet. I saw at least 50 different people share this same screenshot in the quotes, and it's obviously quite unhinged. Here's another user saying, "You can never trust a man that likes anime a little too much, I guess." Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, is it predatory to like anime? Is that the question this person's trying to raise? Here's another one saying, "I'm really disappointed. I don't usually trust men, but this is terrible. As it says, our expectations were low, but holy F. At the end of the day, you need to remember that they're men before being idols." Wow. Do these people even like K-pop idols, at least male ones? Like, if you hate men this much, you don't trust them, why would you even engage with male K-pop idols in the first place? Like, you're wasting your time if you can't look at them without being triggered. But moving on, here's of course a threat. There was many of these saying, "All of them need to die. I'm not joking. Men end up being just men." And Woozi saying it's his all-time favorite. Yes, right off with the death threats, of course, because he committed the high crime of watching anime. This person said they should all go into military service as soon as possible, with some examples of the content contained within Made in Abyss. And of course, for those who don't know, all men in South Korea ages 18 to 35 are required to perform, I don't know the exact duration, but a certain length of military service. And this user is saying that this K-pop idol, and anyone like him who likes Made in Abyss, should be forced into the military as punishment for enjoying that content. Yeah, very reasonable. And then this person says the fact that they're going to get away with it because they're men. No, they're going to get away with it because this is fictional content and does not represent any sort of a real-life interest, and there's zero studies that you could ever provide that would show such a connection. That's why they're getting away with it, not because they're a man. It wouldn't matter if they were a woman. It's just fictional content. It doesn't represent anything in real life that this idol is interested in. And of course, you would expect things to start going down this slanderous route of making false accusations. This person says, "Men who consume this genre of fiction need to be investigated. If they weren't your pretty idols, you'd side-eye them or call it gross." Now, there's nothing wrong with calling these things gross. You have every right to not like some of the themes from Made in Abyss. I mean, you can not like any of them. That's your choice. It's your opinion. But it goes beyond just saying it's gross or weird. Now you're saying that they need to be investigated, which is obviously a waste of resources. But you also have people like this saying, elementary school female students, did I read that right? I am sick. We need to kill men for real. And then this person saying, K-pop really make people defend man who enjoying pedo content. I wish people could actually make legible sentences, but yeah, so of course you knew this would come. They're going to accuse him of being a pedophile and consuming supposed pedo content. This person says, South Koreans have way too much superiority complex for a country where female idols get bashed for reading feminist books, and these male idols casually go around recommending pedo and child torture and lolly content. Now, there's a lot going on in this quote. So number one, the racism in the beginning about this South Korean superiority complex. But going on, of course, slandering him and accusing him of recommending pedo and child torture and lolly content. Are you implying those things are different? Are you implying that he made separate recommendations based on those first two things? Is there any proof of that? Of course not. They're just lumping all these things together to make him look bad. But also the way they use things like lolly instead of lolicon. They don't even know the difference. Like, this is a safe for work version. This just means the body type, doesn't mean anything. But the fact that they don't know the difference is hardly surprising. But going off of this, yeah, it's bad 100% that female idols are getting bashed for reading feminist books, for example. I think that's stupid. But that doesn't justify men getting canceled for reading or watching anime or manga. Both of those things shouldn't be happening. So let's not excuse one because we want to support the other. Here's another one saying, trigger warning, pedophilia. I don't know about these men, but I tried watching Made in Abyss because it was recommended to me by some online friends. It's pedophilic. It also sexualizes children in a very disturbing ways that go too far for anime. It also has a lot of violence happening against these kids. Wow, we're seeing the pipeline of not only the sexual themes, but the violence as well. And of course, if you're calling this stuff pedophilic, you just admitted to consuming it, which would make you what by your own standard? And would make your friends what by your own standard? Like, yeah, we saw a lot of these. And 20,000 likes on this one as well. This person captioning with a description of some of the themes in Made in Abyss saying, trigger warning, abuse, torture, sexual assault, mutilation. Oh, I'm gonna be sick. Yeah, you think you'd be talking about like an actual like thread of grooming allegations, like serious real life crimes against a real person, but this is just the description of an anime. And down here they say, and correct me if I'm wrong, but lollies are in fact children/young girls, right? No. The problem is you believe misinformation on Twitter. That is your number one source for any definition. Lolly simply means a petite body type found in fictional content stylized like anime, manga, and those relating to it. That's all it is. It's a body type. It's petite, whether it's thin, short, what have you, and that's combined with cute aesthetics. That is what lolly is. It has nothing to do with age. So you're getting misinformation from Twitter and you're just gobbling it up because it makes someone that you want to cancel look bad. Here's another one saying, or a reply from the previous thread saying, the author is a pedophile. You cannot make this up. And they're basing this off of a Google search result. So again, talking about misinformation and believing the first thing you see that suits your narrative, here it is. You're believing slander about someone because you found it in a Google search result on a site that literally anyone can leave a comment on. Anyone can say anything about anyone, including this user, for example, and this person will just believe it is fact because it's the first Google search result that pops up. Absolutely crazy. And a lot of people are pointing this out. Y'all love to post stuff that got zero evidence and spread it around as if you can back up your claims if the author decided to sue you for libel. And I wish that would happen more often. I wish these K-pop idols, I wish people of the anime and manga industry, and even content creators would have the opportunity to actually push these people who are making these blatantly slanderous claims on social media with the sole intent of just getting clout and not caring about the damage that's causing to the person it's centered on. So again, let's not kid ourselves. Let's pause and reflect for a second. We're talking about Made in Abyss. We're not talking about some obscure lolicon doujinshi or something like that. We're talking about an anime that has an 8.65 rating, and it's one that has been reviewed by over 700,000 MyAnimeList users. Over 700,000 people have ranked this, and you think it's some actually illegal set of material. And this is something pointed out by others who are saying the moral panic on display here is insane. Made in Abyss is one of the best anime series one can watch, and 700,000+ people on my anime list have rated it above 8 out of 10. You need to go outside ASAP. And they would reply to that thread saying, someone tried to claim with their whole chest that this scene is sexualized. The scene starting with the kid saying her abuser was a horrible person. And you can see, I paused the clip right on this screenshot here, where here's the abuser saying the man who took me in when I had no relatives to turn to was a terribly bad person. That scene is shocking and gross, and it's not in any way trying to glorify what's happening on the screen. It's an element of horror, just like we talk about with the coffin of Andy and Lele. These themes are not being glorified simply because they exist as a part of the narrative. They're there to make these people involved look bad. It's telling a story with dark themes. It has purpose more than just pointless, gratuitous fan service like these people are trying to frame it as. And again, people saying the creator of this anime is very problematic. He's a lolicon who puts his kinks into his material. And these are one of the many Twitter users who believe that if a certain theme is contained within a piece of fiction, that must mean that the author is into it, that it's their fetish or something like that. Not realizing it's just a part of telling a dark story. Just like if someone was writing a murder mystery, that doesn't mean they secretly like murdering people. And the fact that these people can't differentiate between those different, darker themes is pretty telling. And of course, you have more people saying a trigger warning depiction of child assault. Okay, so this whole it's censored in Korea thing was total BS. And that was a claim that a lot of people were saying, is that the Korean version that this idol would have seen was censored differently than it was in other countries. And whether it was or not, a lot of people are coming out with evidence to support the narrative that it was more censored. And personally, I don't care if it was more censored. He has every right to consume this fictional content. But of course, when people spread misinformation, what do? Well, they lock the replies and not allow people to directly call out their BS. It's a common tactic a lot of these people did. And here's another quote saying, I never liked that kind of anime, but seeing the difference reaction between weebs and K-poppers while K-poppers wreck that anime into the ground satisfied me. Like, yes, burn that stuff down. What did you do? You wrecked that anime into the ground. What happened? Did you, get the anime removed? Is it gone or something? No. Made in Abyss still had all of its success. It still exists. And in fact, this whole ordeal is only served as promotion for the franchise. And it's just very weird. You think you destroyed it. It's it still has the really high rating across many different platforms. It's still enormously successful and well-respected amongst anime fans. So what did you accomplish? These people tend to confuse getting viral threads on Twitter hating on something as an actual victory. Like we see with the coffin of Andy and Lele, for example. There were many viral tweets disparaging that game, claiming it's bad, claiming it's problematic, and yet these Steam reviews are at 97%, overwhelmingly positive, and there's literally tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people have purchased the game, because Twitter and getting a lot of likes on Twitter doesn't mean anything. Here's another one saying this person cosplaying as a character from this, and it's not just a random thing a fan made him wear. He said he liked it about 2 months before his fan sign. I don't know what's going on here, but now we're canceling people for cosplays, safe for work cosplays. Please. And it has to do with this whole thing. People want apologies. I saw this tweet with 14,000 likes saying, an apology will not fix this, by the way. These men are all sick in the head. They did not consume that out of ignorance. They watched/read it because they liked it. An apology would just be performative, nothing else. Of course, it would be nothing else. In fact, no apology is needed. It would be a waste of time because he didn't do anything wrong. He consumed fictional content that has no relation to real life anything, okay? It doesn't represent his real interest. It just shows that he watched an anime with dark themes. And I would hope he, like many others, can separate fiction from reality. And here's, eventually afterwards, that account would go private briefly, and you have this real breakdown of events here. It says, be a K-pop stan. Get upset that one of their Korean idols watched Made in Abyss and Berserk. tries to make a post to cancel him, buys botted likes as if it helps, gets roasted in the comments, goes protect mode because he can't handle the bans. Saw it happen in real time. I mean, it really did. I've noticed also within the K-pop scene, or K-pop stan scene, I should say, that you'll see accounts with like 50 followers randomly get a tweet with 10,000 likes. And either it's just like a very hive mind-like community where they're just swarming each other's tweets to support it, or they're buying likes and they're botting and doing things like that, which I also think is definitely a very real possibility. But moving on, I want to close it out with this one. This user said, people who insist that Made in Abyss or Dragon Maid or whatever is like the equivalent of actual legal material need to understand that you can get that stuff at Barnes and effing Noble. Let me repeat that. You can find that stuff at Barnes and effing Noble. And yes, you can. I actually went to Barnes and Noble and went through their manga selection pretty recently. And also, side note, they have a great manga selection, by the way. I mean, it's grown from, you know, when I was a kid, it was like one small shelf. It's like 8 shelves now. Like, it's pretty cool to see. But I know for a fact that Made in Abyss and Dragon Maid are on those shelves with full nudity contained within them. Okay, like, it's not something that is hidden away illegal material. It's literally sold at businesses, open, out in the open. But that's going to do it for this video. Wow, what a trip down the K-pop stan lane here. It's always a doozy when we get involved with that stuff. But nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please share all of your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. And I'll see you guys next time.